This is Mr. Beck Does Your Homework. This is AP Physics Homework 3.1, questions number 5 and 6. This says, a child holds a sled on a frictionless, snow-covered hill inclined at an angle of 30 degrees. Frictionless is good. So the child is holding the sled. If the sled weighs 78 newtons, so that's already the force of gravity, find the force exerted on the rope by the child. So I need this pull force, answer in units of newtons. So, free body diagram, what do we have? That's right, gravity straight down. And I already know that that's 78 newtons. I have a pull force up the ramp. And I have a normal force perpendicular. I'm looking for this one. Well, I know that this gravity doesn't fit into the coordinates of this ramp. This ramp has an up and down the ramp, and it has an in and out of the ramp. And so those are the axes that I'm interested in, not horizontal and vertical. So in that case, gravity is my monster. So if I take my gravity, I want to split it into a component that pushes into the ramp and a component that pushes down the ramp, where this is my right angle. And this angle is going to equal the angle of the ramp. So this angle is going to be 30 degrees in my case. So if this is my force of gravity, this one is going to be my force of gravity down the slope, which is going to be my force of gravity times the sine of the angle, because that's opposite. Also, g sine theta was my acceleration down the slope, so you should remember that. And this one is going to be my force of gravity into the slope, is the way I call it, and that's going to be my overall force of gravity times the cosine of theta. What I'm looking for is, now that I know that, I can redraw my free body diagram, which says I've got a force up the slope, I've got a force of gravity into the slope, I've got a normal force out of the slope, and I've got a force of gravity down the slope. Now if I'm looking for this one, I'm looking for this one. And I already know the force of gravity down is Fg sine theta, so that will be equal in magnitude to the force of the pull. So that is going to be my answer for question number 5. Question number 6 says, what force is exerted on the sled by the hill? Well, that's what you call a normal force. The sled is pushing on the hill because the hill is pushing on the sled, and so however much the sled pushes on the hill is how much the hill pushes back. So I'm looking for my normal force in this case. So that's going to be the force of gravity in, but I've already determined that that is going to be the force of gravity times the cosine of theta. So there's my question number 5, and there's my answer to question number 6.